Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Thursday, October 12, 2023. Stand up for your country. So this Hamas terror attack obviously dominating the news for the past week. And the implications of it, the unintended consequences of it, are going to be huge throughout the rest of this year and perhaps into next. The murders of children will do that. And Hamas did slaughter children. There are pictures of it. I'm not going to show the pictures on the No Spin News. You want to see them, they're on the internet. But there's no doubt about it that these savages went in to a kibbutz. They beheaded little children. And once you get into that zone, there's no coming back. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So this is 9/11 repeated, the Hamas attack, and the world is processing it. A new Fox poll shows 68% of Americans support Israel in the conflict. 32% do not. Well, who are those people? How could you not support Israel when Hamas is a terror group already designated? They attack and they behead little children. I mean, who are these 32%? So they are almost all progressive leftists with some right-wing isolationists. That right-wing isolation group is small. The progressive left is not. So one of the leaders of the progressive left is Bernie Sanders. And here's the statement he put out. Quote, "The targeting of civilians is a war crime, no matter who does it. Israel's blanket denial of food, water, and other necessities to Gaza is a serious violation of international law, will do nothing but harm innocent civilians. But we must also insist on restraint from Israeli forces attacking Gaza, work to secure UN humanitarian access. Let us not forget that half of the 2 million people in Gaza are children. Children and innocent people do not deserve to be punished for the acts of Hamas." Bernie Sanders, October 11th. Okay, so that is ridiculous. And Bernie Sanders is Jewish. He knows it's ridiculous, but he can't go against his progressive belief system. Israel is warning the people of Gaza to get out, okay, particularly of the cities. Get out. They're warning them. Israel is going to dismantle Gaza. It has to, because if it doesn't, then Hamas will do this again and again and again, because it's going on for decades. So Israel's going to go in with its military. They're not going to behead babies. They're not going to do that. But there is going to be rockets and air and all that, and innocent civilians are going to die, which is exactly what Hamas wants. Hamas wants innocent civilians in Gaza to die. It doesn't care about life. And then the Hamas people will show the pictures to the press, and it'll be, oh, look at what Israel's doing. We all know what this is. This is a horrendous, bloody game. That's what this is. So Bernie Sanders, I mean, I don't even listen to the man anymore. He's so far out there. Israel has a right to defend itself, and at this point in history, its defense is, we're going to destroy Hamas once and for all. Would you argue with that? Hamas controls Gaza. Gaza is not a country. It's a terrorist state controlled by terrorists. So Israel said, all right, we gave you the land, and now this is what you're going to do, so you're done. We're going to get rid of you. We're going to kill all the leadership. And by the way, the big leaders in Hamas, they're already in Iran. They're already gone. They're not there. So they'll get low-level commanders, but they'll clear out the infrastructure. Yes, there's going to be a denial of power, food, and water. There's going to have to be refugee camps, all of that. That will happen. But if you're the leadership of Israel, you don't have any choice. You got to take them out. Have to. So when I hear this kind of stuff, and then there are the stupid people like the Harvard groups. Then we reported on this. I'm not going to go over it again, but there is a substantial minority at Harvard, at Columbia, at every Ivy League school, University of Pennsylvania, that hates Israel because that's a progressive tenet. Israel is a fascist nation. Always been that way. ever since post-World War II, Harry Truman allowing the Jews to set up a government in Palestine. Palestine is not a country. It's a territory, okay? And after World War II, the Allies, the victors, said, the Jews need a place to go because 6 million of them were burned to death. They need a place to go. And since that's the Holy Land for Christians, Jews, and Muslims, that's where the Jews went. Okay. Is that unreasonable? I don't think so. Now, and I'm going to read a letter at the end of the program from somebody who doesn't like Israel, and I'll explain the history of it. But Israel is not totally innocent. They have done bad things. That country's done bad things, but not nearly close. There's no equivalency at all. If Israel had its way, Arabs would live side by side, as they are in the country of Israel, without any brutality. Okay, you're never going to convince people who hate you not to hate you. It's impossible. Okay, so the progressive movement that's why you're seeing all of this insanity. And they're not going to ever stop saying that Israel is a fascist country, ever. Now, on the press front is a fascinating story. I wrote about it in a message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com. Once again, I implore you, in the morning, go to BillO'Reilly.com, read my message. It's free. You don't have to join anything. So there are two competing news agencies that say Iran is responsible for the Hamas thing and Iran is not. Now, this is a clear cut. Somebody's wrong. So on October 8th, the Wall Street Journal wrote, quote, Israel has carried out dozens of retaliatory strikes on targets in Gaza. After an attack by Hamas, left over 1,200 people dead. That number is much higher now. Iranian security officials helped Hamas plan the assault for several weeks. Wall Street Journal's Shanedi Reis and Dov Lieber report from Tel Aviv, unquote. Okay. I believe that report based upon what I know, and I wrote the preeminent terrorism book, Killing the Killers. I wrote it. I researched it with Martin Dugard. Okay. So yesterday, CNN comes out and says this. Go.
We are told that preliminary U.S. intelligence suggests that Iran did not play a direct role and that the Iranian government was not involved as such.
Okay, so that's directly opposite. I'll find out what happened. It's going to take me a while. All right, but one of these agencies obviously desperately wrong. Now, the Biden administration does not want confrontation with Iran. It took it on the chin with the $6 billion hostage swap. Many Americans did not like that. Okay? It doesn't want trouble. It is much softer on Iran than Trump was. That is a fact. There's no two sides to that story. But Biden has supported Israel. He has. And what else are you going to say? Biden has supported Israel. But he's softer on Iran than Trump was. Here's what the guy who's pretty much running the show, John Kirby, is saying. Go.
Because of the longstanding support to Hamas. Hamas wouldn't have been able to function at all had it not been for propping up by the Iranian regime. But we haven't seen any specific evidence that tells us they were witting, involved in the planning, or involved in the resourcing and the training that went into this very complex set of attacks over the weekend.
Okay, so I don't have a beef right now that I'm going to bring to you about the Biden administration. I am going to say that I believe Iran is behind this, and we went over it yesterday. Hamas has no capacity to make arms or do anything like that. No capacity whatsoever. They have to be given the rockets and the lethal weapons to kill the Jews. If Russia or China, both of whom would do it, were doing that, we would know. But it's much harder to get intel out of Iran than it is out of Russia or China. Banks are canceling law-abiding Americans because they don't like their politics. It's real and it's un-American. Patriots like Dr. Ben Carson, Larry Elder, John Rich, and experienced conservative bankers have started America's first cancel-proof bank called Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank's mission statement is very simple. It's the Constitution. They do not subscribe to ESG, only PSL, privacy, security, liberty. They value faith, family freedom, and the flag. Old Glory Bank has one location only in Oklahoma, but they have top-notch mobile banking, so they can serve customers in all 50 states. Old Glory Bank is a real FDIC-insured bank. You're insured up to $250,000 per depositor. So cancel your bank before they cancel you. Please go to oldglorybank.com, open an account today. Remember, terms and conditions apply, an equal housing lender. All right, let's go to the mail. George Amabile, Clark, New Jersey. I'm a little confused about the war in Israel. I'm 92 years old. America went to war in Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Why don't we put troops in Israel? Because Israel doesn't need our troops. They can defend itself. It would be a huge mistake to put American troops there. Martha Johnston, Cotuit, Massachusetts. You said in last night's No Spin News that Israel has been hard on the Palestinians. Would you please explain further? Now, I've got 10 letters, exactly the same wording as Martha's. So I know this is flapping around the internet. All you need to do is go to Israel Human Rights on Google, Israel Human Rights. Bing, you'll see. UN reports, various reports from all over. Best way to do it. Mark, I don't think President Biden is moving slow for Israel. Iran has always been a problem, but I don't think any president has really handled Iran well. All right, I think Trump did a pretty good job containing Iran. But, you know, opinions are opinions. Randy Buzzini, Meriden, Idaho. I am thinking that if Israel was to give in to Palestine and make it a state, Hamas would run Palestine like the Taliban run Afghanistan. Exactly. There's no country. The terrorists run it. There's no democracy, elected government. You do what Hamas says or they shoot you. Dan, some Harvard students and groups who signed the Blame Israel letter are now backtracking. Yeah, of course they are. Because they're getting heat. These aren't courageous people. Jerry, concierge member, Jerry gets direct access to me. You're right, Bill, about Biden being a ceremonial president and his staff making all the decisions. But his staff are all Obama holdovers. So you can see Obama's running the government. I don't think you can make that stretch. Yes, there are a lot of Obama people there. But are they calling up Barack every day saying, what should we do? I don't think so. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. But there's no evidence at all that is happening. Eleanor, I think what California Newsom is doing is all part of the master plan of the Democratic Party, another step in tearing down a family unit. Absolutely. Democrats don't have any respect for MAGA families. They want the state to run the kids. No doubt about it. Alice, we live in Canada, totally affected by what happens in the USA. The inflation brought upon us when Joe Biden took office. We're living in a house that the rich would consider an extra room. I feel your pain. Inflation in America is inflation in Canada. It's how close together we're tied. Joe Moss, Cooper City, Florida. Should I read Killing England right after I finish Killing the Witches? Absolutely. That's the best progression. So Witches starts with the Mayflower, all right, and then it goes a whole bunch of different places, and you pick it right up with Killing England, a Revolutionary War. So Killing the Witches debuts at number 2 on Sunday. New York Times list. This torques me off because we were beaten by a Hate Trump book, which has fallen 77% in 1 week because all the hate Trumpers went out and bought the book. First few days of release, MSNBC pushed it. So we're number 2. Now, I know I'm immature. I should be deliriously happy that Killing the Witches is number 2. I've had 18 number 1 bestsellers. I am happy. I don't want to be a greedy guy. And I want to thank you all for supporting the book. greatest Halloween read, with apologies to Edgar Allan Poe. You'll learn an amazing amount, and it just flies by. Okay, if you go to BillO'Reilly.com and you become a premium concierge member, you get the book free, Killing Witches, or any of my other books. If you buy a gift, concierge or membership gift, you get the book free. So, this is a different promotion. I'll tell you about it in a moment, but you can keep the slide up there. But if you buy a premium member gift to give for Christmas or Halloween or anything, you get the book free. You got to give gifts coming up. So what we got there is a nifty 3B, a polo shirt of your choice, which is lasts you forever, Killing the Witches, and a 3-month Bill O'Reilly gift card they can give away, $59.95. There you go. And when writing to us, do not be a Weisenheimer. That is a Jackie Gleason word. If you don't know Jackie Gleason, look him up. Brilliant comic. Weisenheimer, German, Wisenheimer. Don't be a Weisenheimer. Back with a final thought on the LA Dodgers in a moment. Delta Rescue is near and dear to many of our hearts. More than 2 million animals are killed in pounds each year, not to mention all those abandoned in the wilderness. Delta Rescue's founder, Leo Crillo, is doing great work with his no-kill Care for Life animal sanctuary. It's no small feat to rescue and care for thousands of dogs, cats, and horses, too. These animals need love, food, shelter, and veterinary care. That's why Delta Rescue needs our help. Every donation counts, and they rely solely on the contributions of people like you and me to care for their animals. So please help if you can. Visit deltarescue.org, deltarescue.org, deltarescue.org. All right, here's a final thought of the day. The Los Angeles Dodgers got its butt kicked by the Arizona Diamondbacks 3-0. They're out, the Dodgers. I predicted this because the Dodgers honored the Catholic hate group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I'm sure you remember this. Here's what I said. Go. Now, I said there might be some karma, if you believe in God, on the Dodgers since they announced they reinstated the Sisters to the Honor platform. The Dodgers have gone 6-6. Yankees beat them a couple of times. So I'm a believer in karma. All right, and this is a bad deal for the Dodgers. Now, people believe what they want to believe, and I want to believe that karma hit the Dodgers. So I'm going to believe it. I do believe in karma. Dodgers did a terrible thing, and now they're out, and Arizona is in. Good for you, D-backs. Okay? There you go. Karma. Okay. We very much appreciate you watching and listening to the No Spin News. I'll have a new column on Sunday. BillO'Reilly.com, Killing the Witches. Let's go. Okay? Let's show these hate Trump people that we buy good books. Okay? I got an interesting message on this tomorrow on Friday. So I hope you incorporate BillO'Reilly.com into your weekend, and we will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.